السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. Hello, my name is Ahmed, and I am happy to welcome you back through this journey of the discovery of the Quran, where we are now entering chapter 12, Surah Yusuf. You can't really see it because it's over there, Surah Yusuf, which is one of my favorite stories of the Quran, which is fantastic. A few things to say before we begin, and it's not the usual disclaimers. I will be releasing episodes a lot quicker. So if you're watching this a long time in the future, you don't really care. But I will be releasing episodes at least for this next coming week. I'm going to release 5 episodes because I want to finish the chapter of Yusuf this week. And the reason for it is because on Sunday, next week Sunday, so a week from today, I'm going to introduce a new series that I'm going to test out. I'm going to see how it goes. I think it's going to work with an old familiar face that you might recognize. I don't know if I want to spoil it, but I do want to spoil it because I don't like surprises. You might recognize her from episode 1 of the very first series. So the idea is at the end of every chapter, we are going to do a summary video where we talk about the main lessons, what did we learn, what was important, what stands out. So we can kind of do like a book club. You read a chapter, the whole chapter being a chapter of Yusuf, and then we talk about what is the main lesson, what's the story, what was interesting, what was cool, what can we draw from it. And I think that the discussion might be good and helpful for a lot of people, for those that don't want to see the verses, but want to get the wisdom, which I think is very cool. So yeah, stay tuned for next Sunday. But that means I'm going to be releasing at least 5 episodes in the next 5 to 6 days, let's say, including today, obviously, because this episode's out and you're watching it. So that's my wonderful little announcement. Before we read the Quran, I'm always give the classic disclaimers. Classic disclaimers. I'm not a Quranic scholar, nor am I a student of the Arabic language. I am undergoing a journey to learn about the Quran and share my learning with you. So if you have something that you disagree with, please feel free to drop it in the comments. I love learning from you, and I'm hoping that you learn something from me along the way. The whole point of this channel is education. I'm not telling you what you should believe. I'm just telling you what I understand, and maybe that'll help. Cool. Before we begin, we always say أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم, and off we go. Oh, also, this is one of my favorite chapters of the Quran. I love the story. It's very story. It's drama. You're gonna see it. It's very cool. I love. It's just chef's kiss. It's very good for attention. Anyway, off we go.
ألف لام را تلك آيات الكتاب المبين.
Okay, whenever we see these, this is not a word. That's why it said every letter is different. There are 3 letters. It's alif, lam, ra. And whenever the Quran mentions those 3 letters, whenever in the Quran the verses mentions those 3 letters, it always talks about the book after it. And I had a question in the previous time. Is the book that they mention always the Quran, or is it also the Torah and the Injil? Anyway, we'll find out in the next verse that this specifically is talking about the Quran. But what does it say? Alif Lam Ra. It's kind of like we don't fully understand what these letters mean, but they're kind of like for importance, and they always refer to the book after it. So it says, what does it say? These are the verses of the book that is clear, straightforward. And then we'll see the next verse why it's talking about the Quran, not the Torah, not the Injil.
إنا أنزلناه قرآنا عربيا لعلكم تعقلون.
Okay, indeed we have sent it down. We have sent it down the Quranan, which means that which is read. Arabian, which means that it is Arabic, is in the language of Arabic. So a Quran that was released in Arabic, so that you may understand. Now, who is the you that he is referring to? I want to say it's the Arabs, but I think in this modern age, even non-Arabs can learn from this. But I find it seems to be the most effective book for teaching Arabs. But I've seen a lot of non-Arabs pick it up, and a lot of non-Arabs start learning Arabic because of it. So let's not. Anyway, for you, so that you may understand. Taqilun. It almost means to me that you may be sane. It's a weird way. Like the way that taqilun is to understand, but it's also like so your mind can process, can be sane, can be functional. It's very interesting.
نحن نقص عليك أحسن القصص بما أوحينا إليك هذا القرآن وإن كنت من قبله لمن الغافلين.
It says, we relate upon you the best stories, the best narrations, and what we have revealed to you in this Quran. So whenever it says we have revealed to you this Quran, we know that this is talking about the Prophet Muhammad because it was revealed to the Prophet Muhammad. Although you, even though before, even if you were from before it, surely among the ignorant, totally unaware, you didn't know about these stories. من الغافلين. You didn't know. You were ignorant of these stories, but we tell you now, and we give you these stories before you. So this is kind of the purpose of the book, the purpose of the Quran, the purpose of what we're learning, so we can learn about something that you did not know about. It talks about the Prophet, but it also is beneficial for us to know about what we don't know and we don't understand. We can learn in the same way that the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, learned.
إذ قال يوسف لأبيه يا أبت إني رأيت 11 كوكبا والشمس والقمر رأيتهم لي ساجدين.
Okay, several things are being said here. And this is where the spice begins already. If Joseph said, Yusuf is the Arabic word for Joseph. If Joseph said to his father, "Oh father, indeed I see 11 Kaukaban means planets, not stars." That's very confusing. And then it says the sun and the moon. Yeah. What am I doing? I want to translate it. I thought it was, no, it needs to be planets. So why are they saying stars? Kaukab, Nijm is star, Kaukab is planet, but both translations are saying planet. That's interesting. That's wrong. Kaukab definitely means planet. And then it says, and then the sun, wal shamsu wal qamar, and the sun and the moon, and I saw them to me prostrating, like bowing down, kind of like in worship, which is kind of interesting. Now, several things. I can try and explain what this vision means. I think it's explained later on in the chapter. But things that we know, for example, is that Joseph's father was Jacob, Yaqub, who was the son of Isaac. That's correct, right? Joseph's father was Jacob. I did a lot of research, so I kind of get a little bit confused. Joseph's father was Jacob, and Jacob was Isaac's son. Right? Joseph's father is Jacob. Jacob's father is father is Jacob, whose father is Isaac. I just want to make sure. Therefore, Isaac is Joseph's grandfather. Well, I don't want to look at the biblical narratives because there's been some disagreements. Okay. Joseph said to his father, who I believe is Jacob, and whose father is, I believe, is Isaac, that I see 11 planets and the sun and the moon bowing before me. Now, what does this mean? We know that Jacob had 11 sons. And I think this is also what's very interesting. is why it said 11 sons. And then I guess the sun and the moon are his father and his mother. I think that's the metaphor that is being said in the dream. I think it'll be explained in a later version of this verse. But this is also the start of the story of Joseph. And Joseph had prophetic dreams, and they had special meanings, and he could understand what those meanings were. He's an interpreter of dreams, as we will discover in the chapter that we're about to read. And so the idea that the 11 planets, which for me is confusing, that it's, if Jacob had 11 children, then is he one of the 11 children that is bowing to himself? Okay, maybe we're creating spoilers. Joseph had a dream. 11 planets, the sun and the moon, were bowing towards Joseph. What that means, we'll get to a little bit later. So what did his father say?
قال يا بني لا تقصص رؤياك على إخوتك فيكيدوا لك كيدا إن الشيطان للإنسان عدو مبين.
So he said, "Oh, my son, do not relate your visions to your brothers. So they will plot against you. They will plan against you a plot. They will scheme against you a scheme. They'll try and get you." This. So he's saying what you're dreaming is gonna upset them, and that's gonna be the main theme of the first chapter. The first half of the first chapter is that his brothers are not good people, and they're jealous, and then he continues saying, "Indeed, the devil, al-shaytan, to man is an enemy that is open." So he knows that the devil has a lot of influence on his children, on his sons, that are going to attack Joseph for this dream.
وكذلك يجتبيك ربك ويعلمك من تأويل الأحاديث ويتم نعمته عليك وعلى آل يعقوب كما أتمها على أبويك من قبل إبراهيم وإسحاق إن ربك عليم حكيم.
Okay, lots is being said here, which doesn't kind of help me understand the question. Anyway, let's see what it says. And thus he will choose, your Lord will choose you, which makes me feel like this is a continuation of what he's saying, right? "Oh, my dear son, do not let your vision, don't tell your brothers about your vision. They'll devise a plot against you. Surely Satan is their sworn enemy." And then he continues, because I think this is the explanation of why they'll attack him. And thus God chooses you and teaches you from the interpretation of narratives, ta'wil al-ahadith. They say the interpretation of dreams, because later on in the chapter we talk about specifically dreams, but the words are ta'wili al-ahadith, the interpretation of narratives, which I think is a slightly different ability that covers dream interpretation. I think dream interpretation is a part of it, but I don't think it's a complete perspective. And I think his abilities lie in his wisdom and judgment, which they will show at a later stage. But anyway, it just says, so God has chosen him and will teach him the interpretation of narratives, and he will complete his favor upon you and upon the family of Jacob, as he completed it against your forefathers from before Abraham and Isaac. And indeed, your Lord is all-knowing and all-wise. So it is our belief that Joseph is the son of Jacob, who's the son of Isaac, who's the son of Abraham. And that's how it goes. I'm not sure that's the proper descendancy. I believe it to be so. I'm not sure. It could be generational in between them. It might not be the direct father. It might be like his grandfather. I don't know. But we just know that Joseph is from the lineage of Jacob, who's from the lineage of Isaac, who's from the lineage of Ibrahim. And it's possible that they were great-grandfather, grandfather, father, son. It's very possible. But anyway, we just learned that it's the interpretation of narratives, which is a hadith. It's a very, very interesting expression. And technically that finishes our first section, but 6 verses is a little bit too short. So we're going to keep going. We're going to get into the fun parts. I love the story. It's so exciting. It's very cool.
لقد كان في يوسف وإخوته آيات للسائلين.
Certainly it was in Joseph and his brothers a sign for those who ask.
إذ قالوا ليوسف وأخوه أحب إلى أبينا منا ونحن عصبة إن أبانا لفي ضلال مبين.
All right, interesting. So, if when they said, surely Joseph and his brother are more beloved towards our father than we are, and we are a gang. We are like, I'm saying it as a gang because a gang implies like a tough group, right? It's a group and they're tough. So they're saying, why is Joseph and his brother preferred to our father while we are the tough gang? Indeed, our father is surely in an error that is clear. And it's worth noting that here they say that the brother is Benjamin. The Quran does not say, but it does say that Joseph and his brother. So it says that there are 2. And I don't know whatever happens to the brother. I don't think it touches upon the brother, or maybe it touches upon the brother at a later stage. But for now, his brother is not mentioned. We just know Joseph's brothers were jealous of Joseph and one other person.
اقتلوا يوسف أو اطرحوه أرضا يخل لكم وجه أبيكم وتكونوا من بعده قوما صالحين.
Okay, so among the things that the brother said, kill Joseph or cast him to a land, exile him to a land, so that the face of your father will be free for you. In other words, your father's attention is free to land upon you as long as you don't have Joseph around. So they knew that Joseph was something special, and they immediately were jealous and aggressive towards him. And so that your father will be free of you, either kill him or kick him out of the land, and you will be, after that, a people that are righteous. Here it says you may repent. It doesn't say repent and become a righteous people. It says that after that you could become a righteous people. I think it's very important to say that it did not repent. The idea here is that they're killing or casting him out so that they can be the good people. They're thinking that Joseph is the result of why they're evil. They're thinking Joseph is the source of their lack of righteousness, and that if their father had treated them all fine, then they'd just be good people. If they got the love from their father that they needed, then they'd be good people, which is very interesting. Yeah, it's not about repentance. It's about they think Joseph is the problem of why they're not righteous, instead of recognizing that they're doing the unrighteous things because they're not righteous, and it has nothing to do with Joseph. Okay. Anyway, let's see what happens next.
قال قائل منهم لا تقتلوا يوسف وألقوه في غيابة الجب يلتقطه بعض السيارة إن كنتم فاعلين.
Okay, so one of them said, do not kill Joseph, but throw him in the bottom of the well, and it will pick him up some of the caravans, which it translates to cars these days, but some of the moving caravans, moving vehicles. If you are doing anything, don't kill him, throw him at the bottom of a well. And it doesn't strike me as this person is good, but it strikes me as that is their good idea. And it's kind of like the main theme is that everything seems to work out in the end, and you got to trust God. Even in a plot such as this, a small sliver of hope is always created, even from the non-righteous, so to speak.
قالوا يا أبانا ما لك لا تأمنا على يوسف وإنا له لناصحون.
Okay, so they went to the father and they said, "Oh, father, why don't you trust us over Joseph? And indeed, we are for him surely well-wishers. We will guide him well. We will give him good advice. We truly wish him well."
أرسله معنا غدا يرتع ويلعب وإنا له لحافظون.
Snakes in the water. They said, send him tomorrow with us. Send him with us tomorrow, so that he can enjoy and he can play, and we will definitely be his protectors, his guardians. We'll watch over him. We got his back. And obviously, you know what they were talking about just before, so they lie.
قال إني ليحزنني أن تذهبوا به وأخاف أن يأكله الذئب وأنتم عنه غافلون.
Okay. So the father says, "Indeed, it surely saddens me that you should take him, and I fear that a wolf would eat him, and while you are about him unaware." Which I find it very interesting that the father knows that something fishy's up, but he translates his fear into saying, maybe a wolf's going to eat him. So he knows something's wrong. He knows this ain't right. And he knows that something's going to happen. And he's like, I'm worried about a wolf eating him. And the reason why it's interesting that he said wolf will be explained in a second. But they say,
قالوا لئن أكله الذئب ونحن عصبة إنا إذا لخاسرون.
So they said, if a wolf eats him, while we are, it's that same word again, osbatan, which I would consider a gang rather than a group, because we're, a mighty group. And if they're like, yeah, if the wolf takes him from us while we're all around him and all this strong, then surely we are, in the words of Donald Trump, losers. Sorry for quoting him, but that's what khasirun means. Certainly be losers. So they said, don't worry, if the wolf takes him from us, then we are garbage.
فلما ذهبوا به وأجمعوا أن يجعلوه في غيابة الجب وأوحينا إليه لتنبئنهم بأمرهم هذا وهم لا يشعرون.
Foreshadowing, which is very interesting. So when they when they went with him and they agreed together that they would put him in the bottom of the well, here it says something interesting. But we inspired to him that you will inform them of this affair, about this affair, while they do not perceive. And this is foreshadowing to the later parts of the chapter, the later parts of the book. And it's interesting that he's still a boy at this phase. He's a child, but he knows, and he's been inspired. Awhayna is a wonderful. Inspired isn't the right word. It's kind of like revealed only to him, right? Or like communicated only to him. My dad says that Awhayna means that we have revealed only to that person. So they revealed only to Joseph that he will inform about this affair. This will come back. You will remind them of this deed of theirs while they are unaware. Don't worry. When the time comes around, you will inform them. And while they do not perceive it now, but I think it's also because it was inspired to them while they do not perceive. But either way, Joseph was told, don't worry, you're going to catch them on this point. And they will come back at a later stage, which I find is very interesting.
وجاءوا أباهم عشاء يبكون.
I find it very interesting that the reader, the reciter of the Quran, decided to say this super, like, I want to say sad, like as if it's mournful. It's very interesting. But they came to their father at dinner time in the evening, and they were crying. And here comes the performance.
قالوا يا أبانا إنا ذهبنا نستبق وتركنا يوسف عند متاعنا فأكله الذئب وما أنت بمؤمن لنا ولو كنا صادقين.
Here's why the wolf is very important. They said, "Oh, Father, indeed we went racing each other and we left Joseph with our possessions, so the wolf ate him. And but you are not going to believe us, even if we are telling the truth." It's like, you're not going to believe this. It's exactly what happened. So it's very interesting that they got the excuse from their father, and then they gave him the same excuse. They're like, oh, he's thinking that might happen, so he thinks it is possible. So we're going to tell him what he thinks has happened. Which is like, it's super uncreative lying, first of all. Come on, get a little creative. But it's very interesting that their father told them about the wolf, and then they decided to do it. And I also find it interesting to say, and you're not going to believe us, but this is the truth. And I feel like this statement is wild. Because I feel like it's something that I've experienced time and time again in a variety of formats. Sometimes exactly the thing that we worry is going to happen sometimes happens, and then that makes it weird. But usually also a liar will tell you, you're not going to believe this, but... But also truthful people can say that. Anyway, it's just fascinating.
وجاءوا على قميصه بدم كذب قال بل سولت لكم أنفسكم أمرا فصبر جميل والله المستعان على ما تصفون.
All right, heavy but good. So, and they brought Joseph's shirt to the father with false blood. So they brought Joseph's shirt with a lot of blood on it. Look, he was eaten by the wolf. Yada yada yada. And then the father said, "Nay, it is enticed for you your soul's a matter." So he's saying it's clear, because also remember from the very beginning, his father knew that his brothers were jealous of him. His father knew that they were going to plot against him. And so as soon as this happened, as soon as they told him the lie of the wolf, that he told them, by the way. And also, like, I mean, that's the easiest way to find out a lie. Like, you give them a false thing and they go for it. It's kind of wild. But he told them, yeah, it's obvious that it's the way that it was described. It has enticed for you your souls. Your soul has enticed you to do it. Your soul has enticed you to do bad. You listen to the bad part of your soul, to the devil within. And he blames them for it. And then it says, so patience is beautiful. فَصَبْرٌ جَمِيلٌ. Which is utterly profound statement. Because being patient when your heart is hurting, when someone that you love is in a precarious situation. It's so tough. But it's also beautiful. And it's a part of our human experience to endure in the face of uncertainty, in the face of pain. And it also is a testament to Joseph's father's, which again, I could be calling him Jacob, but for accuracy's sake, he's Joseph's father, is that he immediately knows that that he needs to be patient and that patience is beautiful. And on God is the one who is sought for help against what you describe. And it is Allah's help that I seek to bear your claims. Wallahu al-musta'anu. And God is the one that I seek help for against what you describe. Yeah. So, what happens to Joseph?
وجاءت سيارة فأرسلوا واردهم فأدلى دلوه قال يا بشرى هذا غلام وأسروه بضاعة والله عليم بما يعملون.
And along came a car. At the time it was called a caravan. Oh, is car short for caravan? Wow. That's wild. Okay, let's not get distracted. A caravan came. So they sent their water drawer and he let it down and he let down his bucket. So he put his bucket down in the well and then he pulled it up. And as he pulled it up, he said, whoa, what good news. This is a boy. It's a boy. It's not water. So they hid him as merchandise. So they're like, oh, yeah, we can get a good price for this boy. We can get a price for this boy. Come, bring him. Put him in our stock. What luck. We got something for you to take. And God is all-knowing of what they do. And again, God is the mastermind and the story behind it all. And that's what's coming.
وشروه بثمن بخس دراهم معدودة وكانوا فيه من الزاهدين.
Interesting. And so they sold him for a price that is very low, which is kind of like, it's ironic. It feels like he went to the right house, like he was supposed to go to the right house, but that the right house couldn't afford him, and they're like, oh, you know what, just take him. They sold very low in dirhams, very few dirhams. Dirhams is the currency. It's also the currency of several countries now. For instance, the United Arab Emirates, the Emirati dirham. And they were in it about him, keen to give him up. Clearly, like, they didn't want to give him up, but someone was like offering him, and he was causing issue, or like whatever. They were just like, you know what, just take him. Just give us whatever money, and just take him from what you're giving. Yeah. So he went to the right house.
وقال الذي اشتراه من مصر لامرأته أكرمي مثواه عسى أن ينفعنا أو نتخذه ولدا وكذلك مكنا ليوسف في الأرض ولنعلمه من تأويل الأحاديث والله غالب على أمره ولكن أكثر الناس لا يعلمون.
Okay, and said the one who bought him from Egypt, so the man from Egypt who bought him, said to his wife, make comfortable his stay. Maybe he will be of benefit to us, or we will take him as a son. They bought this kid and make him comfortable, treat him nicely, give him, take care of him. Maybe he'll be useful to us, or maybe he'll be a son, for example. Maybe we adopt him as a son. And thus we have established for Joseph in the land, and so that we may teach him from the interpretation of events, of narratives. And again, it translates to interpretation of dreams, but again, I think it's limiting the understanding. Ta'wil al-ahadith, the interpretation of narratives, I liked better. Events is another example. Dreams is not the right word. However, it does include dreams. And God is predominant, the victor over his affairs. God is predominant over his affairs, but most people do not know. Yeah, most people don't know and don't believe that God does what God wants. And God will be successful at what he does. No matter what happens, no matter what you think is going on, God will prevail.
ولما بلغ أشده آتيناه حكما وعلما وكذلك نجزي المحسنين.
And then when he reached his maturity, we gave him wisdom and knowledge. And thus we reward the good doers, which I think is a very beautiful expression and statement. A lot of people are like, why should I do good from a religious perspective? Is because you will get a reward, not just in the afterlife, but also in this life. Do good, good things will happen. Do bad, bad things will happen.
وراودته التي هو في بيتها عن نفسه وغلقت الأبواب وقالت هيت لك قال معاذ الله إنه ربي أحسن مثواي إنه لا يفلح الظالمون.
Okay, I used to understand this a certain way, but I think people are confused. But y'all thought the drama was over. The drama is just beginning. And راودته, and aimed to seduce him, the one who was in her house. So aka the wife of the man who took him in. Once he reached of age and he was wise and knowledgeable, she was like, ooh, you know what? I'm interested in you and I want you. And it says, وَرَاوَدَتْهُ عَنْ نَفْسِهِ, which means, and she ought to seduce him from himself, which means that it wasn't that he was interested, but she wanted to pull the interest out of him, is kind of the idea. So what did she do? She closed the doors and she said, Hayta lak. Come on, you? No. Hayta lak means this is for you. Yeah. Lak is for you. Hayta is, I believe this is for you. Come to me, it doesn't make sense. In come on, you. Come to me is wrong. Come on. Maybe Hayta means come on, but I think this means like, here you go. Come and have it. Maybe that can kind of make sense, but it's for you. So she's offering herself for him. So he said, I seek refuge in God. Now, this next part is translated, and the way that I read it the first time was, indeed he is my Lord, made good my stay. All of a sudden people say my master, as if it's the master of the house, rather than, God, because he's talking about God just before. And he's talking about God right after. Right after it says, indeed, he does not succeed the wrongdoers. لا يفلح الظالمون. It's not the wrongdoers never succeed. He does not, إنه. That he does not make successful the wrongdoers. So that's God. God is the one that makes wrongdoers successful or not, or makes anyone successful or not. So here he's talking about God. And here he was talking about God. So why all of a sudden in the middle, Rabbi, which is a word that is commonly used for God, all of a sudden Rabbi means my master? That doesn't make any sense to me. Because he says, God has made good my stay. And for me, it would make sense as a messenger of God who has faith that even though he is grateful to the master of the house that gave him the house, he is more grateful to God. And he understands that all glory goes to God, all praise goes to God, and God is the one that put him in this house, and God is the one that gave him this opportunity. So it makes complete sense to me that he's talking about God, God, and God, rather than God, master of the house, and God. You know, that doesn't make any sense. Anyway, we continue.
ولقد همت به وهم بها لولا أن رأى برهان ربه كذلك لنصرف عنه السوء والفحشاء إنه من عبادنا المخلصين.
And certainly she did desire him. She did desire him. And I'm going to say this in a specific way rather than how it's written. And and he would have desired her. وَهَمَّ بِهَا. It says, and he desired her he would have desired her if not he had seen the clear proof of his Lord. And again, it's the same word that was used before. Rabbi is my Lord, and Rabbi is his Lord. Again, same word. We're always talking about God. Doesn't make any sense. The proof of his Lord talks about the proof of God. So he, during this moment, this interaction, when she closed the door and she offered herself to him, he would have fallen for it had he not seen the clear proof of his God, which I think this could be like something physical that he's seen, or something metaphorical, or some sort of dream, or some sort of perspective that he had. But the clear proof of his God was given to Joseph, and Joseph had clear proof of God. And that was what stopped him. If it had not been for that, he would have desired her as well. But he did not desire her because he had the proof of God. And thus, it's interesting, thus we avert from him the evil and the immorality. Which, it's kind of like to preserve the chastity of the messenger, of this messenger specifically. It was God's proof that kind of pushed him away from immorality and evil. And indeed, he is of our slaves. Sincere is not the right word. Mukhlisin. I wonder what the literal translation of it. I feel like it's like proficient. The faithful. Yeah. One of our chosen servants. Yeah, the faithful, like proficient in faith. The faithful, the chosen servants. He's one of the good guys, and there's a specific reason why he was protected. The drama continues.
واستبق الباب وقدت قميصه من دبر وألف يا سيدها لدى الباب قالت ما جزاء من أراد بأهلك سوءا إلا أن يسجن أو عذاب أليم.
Horrible woman. Anyway, and they both raced to the door. He was running away from her. She was chasing after him. And she tore his shirt from the back. Dun dun dun. And they both found her husband, her master, her husband, at the door. So as they both ran for the door, she tore his shirt, and they opened the door, and the husband was there. Uh-oh. And then she said, what is the recompense, what is the reward for someone who wants your wife, your family, takes what's yours, or wants something evil from what's yours? So she's telling him, what do you do with somebody that wants evil for your family? Huh? I am your wife, and he wanted something bad for me. What do you want? What should he get other than he should be imprisoned, or he should have a punishment that is severe, that is painful? So she's saying, yeah, look, he wants bad for me. What is his punishment? Are you going to imprison him, or are you going to hurt him? And then Joseph says,
قال هي راودتني عن نفسي وشهد شاهد من أهلها إن كان قميصه قد من قبل فصدقت وهو من الكاذبين.
So Joseph said, she's the one, and then we hear that phrase again, راودتني عن نفسي. She's the one that ought to seduce me against myself. And again, here it's saying that I didn't choose this, but she's trying to create something that wasn't for me. She tried to make me do something that was wrong. راودتني عن نفسي. She seduced me from myself. And it's just a very interesting expression. راودتني عن نفسي. And then testified a witness from her family, which is very interesting, that if his shirt was torn from the front, then she has spoken the truth, and he is of the liars. And this is kind of the interesting point. We were told where the shirt was torn. Shirt was torn in the back. And so one of her relatives said if it's torn from the front, then she's telling the truth because he was attacking her and she was saying no, and she tore like you're fighting away somebody who's coming at you. But if his shirt's torn from the back, that means she was chasing him, not he was chasing her.
وإن كان قميصه قد من دبر فكذبت وهو من الصادقين.
And the reverse, and if his shirt is torn from behind, then she has lied and he is of the truthful. So yeah, if she was torn from the front, he's lying. If it's torn from the back, she's lying and he's truthful. Very clear.
فلما رأى قميصه قد من دبر قال إنه من كيدكن إن كيدكن عظيم.
I also find it very interesting. But anyway, they said, so when he saw his shirt, it was torn from the back, he said, indeed, it is from your plot. And what's interesting is this term is for group of females. Kaydikunna. Yeah, see here it says, from the cunning of you women. So it feels like he's judging women in general. Or there could have been multiple women saying her story. Because it doesn't say Keiduki, which means your plot as in singular female. It says Keidikunna, which means a group of women. And we do later see in the chapters a group of women come up. But I don't think those are not the same women that this is referring to, because those women don't know about Joseph. Or maybe it is those women. Either way, it's talking about a group of women. And he says, this is from your plot. Indeed, your plot is great. And the last verse for today.
يوسف أعرض عن هذا واستغفري لذنبك إنك كنت من الخاطئين.
Okay, he says, Joseph, turn away from this. It says, Joseph, you know what, forget about this. You're a good man, it's clear. And then he turns to his wife and says, you ask for forgiveness for your sin. You should ask for forgiveness for your sin. Indeed, you are of the wrongful. Not sinful, the wrongful, the one who has made the mistake. You are clearly in the wrong. And he tells his wife, you are in the wrong. I promised you an exciting story, and this is an exciting story. The story of Joseph is very, very exciting. I find it very interesting. And we will continue the story, I believe, tomorrow. I have to do 5 episodes before next Sunday. I'm planning on doing them 5 in a row, but we'll see. Maybe Tuesday I'll take a day off. I don't know. We'll see, because Tuesday's the hottest day in the Netherlands, so we'll see. Very exciting. I love the story. Joseph goes through the most trials and tribulations that I know of, but also gets the most reward in the end, I think. It's a very exciting story. Very cool. And it immediately, bad thing happened, good thing happens. Bad thing happened, good thing happens. Like, it doesn't keep you in the bad. I like the story. It runs quite well. As usual, we always end with Sadaq Allahu al-Ali al-Azim. And that concludes today's episode. And we will continue it tomorrow. And then the summary book club discussion at the end of the week, inshallah. End of next week. Well, Sunday starts the week. Then the beginning of next Sunday. Thanks for watching. Love ya. Ma salama. Bye.